So this question, the mission of CLC includes, and I quote, to strengthen the diverse communities that we serve, end quote. Given that CLC enrollment of Latina students is at 30% and it keeps increasing, while enrollment in other categories is decreasing, and neither the board nor the college leadership reflect the diversity of our county or students, how will you make sure that the voices of groups not represented in the board are listened to and considered when making decisions? And we can start with Catherine.
Thank you. I think first of all, it is important to have a diverse staff and a diverse board to the extent possible. So I applaud CLC for continuing to pursue diverse candidates, and I encourage you to continue to do so. Secondly, we need to continue to make CLC a very culturally aware, sensitive, and welcoming institution, and there's a variety of ways to do that. One of the things we've done through the High School Alliance that we have created with CLC over the past 4 years has been taking a look at an issue that was brought up earlier, the remedial education piece, and looking at hard data, taking a look at disaggregating data, looking at all student subgroups. Is there a different sort of student that presents from a different socioeconomic background? What does that mean? What strengths and weaknesses do these students bring to the table? How can we support them in a unique way that makes sure we have equity between and amongst all of our students? And that you achieve that by having open conversation and a diversity of resources that is really focused on individual student needs.
Diversity is extremely important. And it's important that the faculty, the students, the board also have a sense of diversity and being able to contribute. I think in addition to some of the other things we've discussed, having those students as well, like my daughter, for example, that were developmentally disabled, being able to go to school as well. So those students also represent part of the diverse population. Making sure that students are able to celebrate their own diversity here, making sure that we offer classes and celebrate that diversity, and make sure that we are able to provide education that is also culturally appropriate for them, and being able to bring those students in a place where they can achieve and be successful as well is very important.
Well, I think CLC, in my experience as a student this semester, is doing a very good job with regards to addressing issues of diversity amongst the staff and the students that are here. If we want to follow the concept that there should be diversity on the board, then we need to change the law, and every 10 years when you have the census, and that's when they pick whether it's 223, 322, or whatever that arrangement is. We're going to say we're going to have one white male, we're going to have one black female, we're going to have a Latino, we're going to have this or that, and that's what it is for the next 10 years. So I understand the argument, I don't disagree with the argument, unless you build something in so it's going to happen, then you will always have this bickering going back on. The more important thing is that you hire good board trustees for the election process. I'm amazed that there are 7 people running for 2 seats. I applaud everybody for putting their hand up and wanting to run. I think this is the best thing to happen in Lake County in a long time. And so out of this mix, you're going to get somebody, people that you think are going to carry through what's going to happen. But more important is that you wind up hiring people like Dr. Weber and his professional staff so that they can hire the administrative staff and the professors that will educate and the programs that will be implemented to work with the students of diversity of Lake County. To me, if that's what you want to do, I'm all in favor of that. And I think if you want diversity on the board, then build it in every 10 years for the census.
My answer regarding diversity is that it's very necessary from the top down and from the bottom up. We serve a very diverse community. Lake County is very diverse in ethnicity, experience, and age. And so when it comes to prospective students matriculating to post-secondary education here, particularly at the College of Lake County, and we're talking about underrepresented students, they need to know that education is possible. And so oftentimes I found in my experience working here, I used to be a recruiter here for the College of Lake County, and I will go out to the 19 local high schools within this serving district and recruit students from Stevenson all the way to North Chicago. And so when we talk about students and making education accessible, many students who come from underserved backgrounds, they don't have that blueprint in their home. And so we need to make sure that we're very sensitive to cultures. We need to make sure that we're sensitive to our student groups. We need to make sure that we're not just saying diversity and thinking that diversity, your issue as an African American, same as the issue for Hispanic students. We need to make sure that as a trustee, as leaderships up here, that we understand what the needs are. And so when we understand what the needs are, we can network with superintendents and principals. We can go inside the school systems and create programs so they can see that education is accessible, and they can create a workable blueprint once they graduate high school. And even for the students who have parents who never went to college before, they don't have anyone in the home to reinforce the message that education is possible, even though that they start at a remedial level here. I was a remedial student. Who would have thought that I would have earned my PhD? We can't put those students on a fast track to a certificate because they start in a remedial level. No one rises to low expectations, and we have to help our students understand, I don't care if no one in your family has ever went to college. You have the potential to be a college degree completer and the first generation student in your family. That has to be our marketing message. We have to be targeting those students intentionally at the higher level to make sure that they know, even if no one ever tells me that I can't go to college, the College of Lake County believes in me. How do I know? Because I saw a commercial that told me so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love the passion. Well, Carlos, I think to answer your question, I guess I would get out and about and I talk to students. I find out how are they feeling, you know. Are they feeling like it's a welcoming environment? Is there something the college can do? I think from my perspective, the college is doing an excellent job reaching out to all segments of the community and our populations. And the economic and demographic changes are dramatically increasing the needs for adult education, literacy, and English as a second language program. We had 1,800 students enrolled in adult education in fall 2016. And it's very difficult for these students to obtain the literary skills that they need to obtain good jobs and to function well in society. And the program, adult education, is funded by the feds and the state. And as we've all pointed out, the state is broke and they're not giving us the finances needed for these very important programs. So what does the college do? The college is reaching into their own funds, their own reserve funds to pay for this program. So I think to the college, supporting these students in these programs is extremely important. I also think that I agree President Weber, along with other community college presidents, signed a statement in support of DACA. And undocumented students are 40% of our adult basic education students, 3% of our credit hour students, and those students need to have supported. And I agree that we should be in support of the deferred action for childhood arrivals. And I think that the college should continue with all their programs that they have to assist all the different diversity. For example, the MetaVision program. It's a national organization. Are you part of that program, Carly? No? Okay. It's a national organization created by the Student African American Brotherhood. It's providing support and guidance to increase male academic success on campus. There are programs like that that are so important that support our diverse populations. I think that Student Activities is doing an excellent job. There's several clubs and organizations supporting. The Latino Alliance is supporting, Sister to Sister, Pride Alliance, International Club, and CLC has been named by GI Jobs Magazine as a military-friendly school, another population that we have to look at and serve. So I think as a trustee of the college, I would support all efforts in serving the diverse populations. I would communicate with students, and I would make sure that they're feeling supported by the college, and if not, I would bring to the Board of Trustees programs that they would give me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go through part of the answer. The first thing I would do would be to talk to the kids. One thing about a community college that is a lot different than, well, kids and adults. We've got people of all ages here. But something that's a little different at a community college than other colleges is that you don't have your dorm here. You don't have, you don't have that university atmosphere. And because of that, I think a lot of students can feel disconnected. I think one thing that we can promote is empowering them to become leaders. Get down into I guess, get on the field. Talk to the people that that you're servicing, and find out what their interests are and what their passions are, and empower them to become, role models and leaders in those areas. I think CLC does a good job of that, but I think there's always more that can be done, depending on people's interests that are coming here.
The question, I believe, had to do with the rising Latino population in the face of the more stable present demographics. And I think that what's important is that there's a sensitivity to that, an awareness about it, and how we respond as the community college. I think that's part of the mission, is that we're based in the community, what the demographics of the community are, representing that, to be mindful of it. And I think one of those things as far as diversity goes, and diversity on the board, is that we pay attention to the substance of our issues, and we don't get knocked off track by the style of that. I offer myself as an example. I'm a middle-aged white male, I'm an attorney. I have a nice suit on. There's a lot of stereotypes. I'm sure many of you might think that you've got just by that information alone, you might understand what my background is. But I can tell you, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but a plastic one. I was a non-traditional student. I was in my early 30s. I was a single, full-time parent, a single dad of 5 kids, 2 of which were handicapped. I had to work, I had to raise the kids, and then I had to find a way to fit in school, and that's why CLC made the difference for me. If College of Lake County wasn't here, I would not be here today. I know what it's like to struggle with poverty. I know what it's like to be, to have to figure out how to do a Pell Grant. I was a Pell Grant recipient. I can identify with populations that are feeling left out, that are feeling overwhelmed, that are feeling discouraged or alienated, that are thinking that the doors are not open to them because I lived it. My kids are now grown, and and I've got grandkids. I went to school the same time my kids were in junior high. We hit books together. Because I'm a white male attorney, that doesn't hurt either, but that's who I am. But what I really am is my lived experiences. And so I've lived through a lot of things that are difficult and that I think make me sensitive to what it might be like to come from a non-traditional background.